Welcome to Empowered to Grow, the podcast. I am your host, Hanan Basha, the business doctor. Following our conversations with empowered women who woke up one day and consciously claimed, I am more than enough, I am worthy, I am empowered to grow. And along their empowering journey towards realizing their own potential and their quest for growth, they became a beacon of hope and guidance for others. May you also find your inner power to grow. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Empowered to Grow. This is our Unchartered discussion episode. That is a continuation with the beautiful Rana Sabra. And if you've seen, well, you should see the first episode, but for those who are seeing it or had overheard it, we started talking about women in business. And we started talking about, well, generally I believe it's a case because I've seen so many women and men. It is people who have no experiential knowledge in business and who decided they want to explore the entrepreneurial world. They want to start a startup. They want to have their own startup, and they just need the support. So they go and they pay a lot of money to say, okay, I want a business plan. And the business plans that come out, whether it is an online, so it's kind of a template that you kind of fill in your information, or even like small agencies that decide, or even big agencies. We had a business plan done by KPMG when we were embarking on business, which cost a lot of money. And it was super complicated that 99% of it we didn't even need. It's just like, okay, I understand it, but I need to know, is this feasible? Is this doable? And how can I move forward? So you've had the experience on your end as well with interacting with people who've done things that just don't make sense when you look through the plan.
Yeah. So the number one advice is whenever when you're starting a business plan, it means that it's the main thing, how you're going to build your business. So it has to have strong foundations. So if you're not able to pay for someone you trust, someone you've worked with before, or someone you've seen their work before, I would advise that you go do the work, do the research yourself.
Yeah.
Because even when I have clients, I always tell my clients, I can do your business plan if we don't put in the hours together. Yeah. If we don't brainstorm for five hours at least, because I don't know what you want.
Exactly.
It's your business. Business nowadays has shifted from the way it used to be previously 10 years,
from the way we studied it, the way we went and got our degrees in it.
Now business is all about your passion, your purpose in life. Consumers do not want to connect with brands. No. They want to connect with friends who align with them, whom they feel that they care for them. Yes. So who are you targeting? Yes. I can get you charts and I can find you the biggest market, the most profitable market, but it doesn't always mean that it's the best choice for you.
Exactly.
So actually we both know the more you niche, the better your business is. Yes. So don't give someone the money and just ask them and trust that they would know what to do. It has to be you. So if you're working with an agency, if you're downloading it from the online, if you're working with a coach or an advisor, then just sit, put in the hours. It's your baby.
Yes.
So
that's what I do
from the beginning.
Yes.
You don't trust your baby with anyone.
No.
You have to have trusted people to take care of it.
And that was my perspective when I first started. I said, they're like, okay, so you're going to do a business plan. I'm like, no, we're going to work on the business plan together.
Exactly.
And I actually assign my clients and that we become friends because, as you said, we have to align and we have to resonate and we have to have chemistry. I assign them the research part. I said, I'm not going to do the research on your behalf. You have to go. Whether it is actually that they're going to go out, for example, to the market to understand who's, if there's a product or a service or whatever, or they go online and I tell them even the competition. I can go online or I can ask around in the market and I can tell you who are your competing agencies. I want to know from you. I want to know from you, who do you see as competition? Because that could be your aspiration. That's how big you want to go. And that's the person or the agency or the whoever it is that you want to be competing against, or it could be someone really small. And if someone really small that is insignificant, or actually they're completely not aligned with whatever you're offering and they're not offering the same thing, then let's explore. That's why mindset became very important. Let's explore your limiting beliefs and let's explore the stories you're telling yourselves. And let's explore again, how do you see and define your product or your service? And from that
Exactly.
perspective, we can build up. So even now I call the business plan, I stopped referring to it as a business plan. I call it the initial business setup,
Yes.
or which, sorry, not or, that constitutes of your business DNA.
I like that.
So for me, your business objective, your vision, your mission, or even your target clients, your initial or preliminary financials, these all compose your business DNA. And you cannot function if your DNA is not in alignment with you.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And it's just the more you put into your business, the more it generates.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to have a small shop, because even if you're having a small shop, if you have a cake shop, that cake shop has to have an identity, because
Yes.
it's competing with thousands of people from
Yes.
all around. It's competing with thousands of businesses that are not even cake shops. Because we both know consumers have specific amount of money that they're going to be spending
And
every
attention.
day, and attention. So there is no unlimited resources. There's actually scarcity in resources in the market. So we need to make sure that you stand out, because you're different, and the difference is your own personality,
Yep.
your own purpose, your own skills put into that business.
But the other thing, Rana, and I think we touched on that, not in this episode, in our discussion, is it was about, for me, initially it went with, okay, I want to support women build up their business or set up the business and the business idea and how to think through it and all of that. But more importantly is, then I realized that we all have a vision, but we have the scarcity mindset comes in with, I can't do it, or I'm unable to do it, or I should not do it, or you're not getting that. But then I realized that it's actually, you can have the vision, but is this vision in alignment and appropriate and fitting your life and your lifestyle? So I always keep saying that, and I keep repeating it. You don't have to, you are not expected to build the next $1 million business.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, you can do the next 2 hours a day, let me entertain myself as the kids are in school business. And that is a success in itself. If you look at it, if you're producing a product, as you were saying, cakes or cupcakes or whatever it is, or embroidery even, then by getting, for example, break even, as in getting as much revenue as you are in your expenses, that's a success. That's an amazing success. It's in alignment with you. You enjoy what you do. You're producing something, you're selling it, and you're making the money. Full stop. You want to put in extra hours? Great. As long as you're not compromising yourself and the whole life around it. My issue when I had my businesses was I let the business take over my life rather than integrate it into my life. And of course, who suffered? Me, because I can't compromise on my son. I didn't compromise on my husband and my relationship with him, on my doctorate. I was going through my doctorate then, on the business itself. So I suffered. And that's the point, that we keep putting ourselves at the end of the priority list, and we suffer. And then we complain. And then we feel like we're stuck and we're angry at everyone and everything around us. And that is just small shifts, small mindset shifts that entail small adjustments in our life.
I love what you said. It's all honestly, and we talked about this last time we had a call. I love how you put it out in perspective. You don't have to have the next $1 million, but you need to have the fulfillment.
Yes.
And to get to that point, I think for me when I got to that point, when I took away the idea of building the next $1 million business and just putting myself in indulging in enjoying what I do, it's all about stop comparing yourself to others.
That too.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I don't have the 2 million followers on Instagram. What matters is if I have 100 followers on Instagram, and I'm actually engaging with them, that I'm able to inspire them. Because you can have 1 million followers and you're not inspiring anyone.
No.
And you can have 100 followers and you're inspiring 2 women and actually changing the lives of only those 2 women. That's huge.
Yeah.
But I love the way you put it into perspective of you don't have to choose. And I think, well, at least from my experience, when I was putting myself under that burden that I want to build the next $1 million business, I always felt the pressure that I'm going to be choosing.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose because I don't have that much time. There is a scarcity of time and money and resources and all of that. So it was like, okay, is it my family or is it my kid or is it my business? And I constantly was angry at myself because I thought that I wasn't able to figure it out, because I go on Instagram and I start looking at all of those successful women.
Yeah.
Like, look at her. She has her hair done. She has her kids. They're doing activities and all of that. The more I digged in and the more I realized it's a process. It's a long process.
Yes.
And the more I realized, and actually, I don't know if this is a shift from our discussion.
No, this is Unchartered. Please shift as much as you want.
There is a message I always try to push, that not everything that we see is actual reality.
That's true.
Not everything
It's a facade.
Instagram, not everything that people say. So for example, someone can come and say, I worked in Fortune 500 companies for 20 years. Perfect. You look at this person and you be like, okay, I can't launch my next mastermind. I can't become a coach. I can't do this or that before I go and work in Fortune 500 companies for 20 years. But when you dig into actually what they did in those 20 years, maybe they were just working an entry level job and switched between 10 companies because they couldn't last more than 5 months in each of those companies.
Yeah.
So it's all about perception.
That's
how you make people perceive it. And that applies to us. So when we are on Instagram and we're just looking at all of those successful women, the Misratis and the all the houses and all of that, it's $1 million business, $20 million business. And I'm just starting small. I have my own cake shop. Enjoy your cake shop.
Exactly.
Celebrate your cake shop. Because stop the competition with the others, because you don't know what's going on in their life. You just see a couple of pictures.
Exactly. That's exactly
with yourself. I had someone a few weeks ago just call me and they were like, oh my God, like I'm so jealous. You're trying to work out, you're doing this, you were doing that. And I was like, listen, I need to stop you. Do you know what's actually going on in my life?
Yeah.
Like I'm away from my family. I haven't seen my family for almost a year. That's painful. That's a lot of pain. I don't put that pain outside on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it exists. So stop competing with others. Just compete with yourself. The best version of you.
That's
not the version that you have in mind of doing it all, the super mom and all of this, because nobody is perfect. Perfection does not exist.
And that's the point, Rana, that illusion of perfection, as you were just saying, it does not exist. And yes, that's always existed, but now because we have it on our mobile, so it's kind of on a touch basis, we can see it all the time. And you see exactly, and you see the young 20-year-olds that now I have the freedom to work as a digital nomad from all across the world, and I'm sitting in Bali and I'm making a lot of money. I was like, oh my God, what did I miss out on? You start having this FOMO.
Can I just say something about that? Another advice for all the women who are starting their business: do not give social media to anyone but yourself.
Yes.
Have an agency, have a coach. I have a lot of clients for social media, but I do it with them.
Yes.
I don't do it for them, because again, your social media is your brand. Don't let anyone talk about your brand.
Yes.
It's you. So exactly, hiring this 20-something who's in Bali
Yeah, and he's
enjoy.
telling you, and he keeps telling you, you know, I'm making all this money, and life is simple, and life's easy, and I get to enjoy it. I'm like, what life? Tell me
Yeah,
about your experiences. Tell me about your knowledge base. Tell me about what the adversities you had to go through to be able to tell people, I'm going to take your money to coach you through that. I'm like, that's not, it's just not right. And for us to keep comparing ourselves with everyone, I keep, as you were saying, like the resources. First, I keep saying you're never scarce on resources. They could be limited, but that limitation, it allows you to look at what you've got and then how do you prioritize capitalizing on them. So your resources, as you were saying, and I keep advocating this all the time. So you've got the resource of money, of course. Immediately, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Money is a resource. We're not going to deny that. Your time is a resource. Your energy is a resource. Your knowledge is a resource. And then beyond that, if you already have a business that something's up and running, the people you work, the work with you, your raw materials, your space, these are all resources. And your job and your target should be to look at how do you best capitalize on these resources, understanding that today I was talking to my sister earlier, for example, and she's going through her doctorate degree as well. And, you know, she's like, I had so many things lined up. And then her baby got a fever. And she's like, so of course she didn't leave the house. So she had to stay with her baby. And she's like, so that day's lost. And I'm like, no, it isn't. Your babies are your priority at all times. So you understand that the time and the energy for them will always trump all the other priorities in your life. Provided that today you got to stay home to be with him, then now think of how you can reallocate your resources to capitalize on them today. As you were saying earlier, being
yeah,
mindful that I'm here with my baby today. There's nothing I can do about that except make sure that he's well taken care of. The next part is there something that could have been part of my resource allocation tomorrow? For example, I needed to do some chores around the house or whatever it is that I can do today since I'm home. And then tomorrow, that time and energy resource could be allocated to whatever it was, my work or my study or anything I had to do outside the house. So it is talking always about that. But when we are approaching a business, that is it. That is, how do I best capitalize on my resources in a way that does not leave me drained at the end, that does not leave me depleted at the end, because I've spent all my energy and my time running through my scrolling through my timelines, comparing myself with others and saying, why isn't this happening for me? Or why isn't this happening to me like the others? Every one of us is, as we are unique as individuals, our resources are very subjective and very unique to us. Someone, as you said, like for us, because we weren't able to go, and we're both expats, we weren't able to go back home this year. That for us meant that the resource of connection and love is depleted. I mean, we're still connected. We still do the voice calls and the video calls and all of that, but it's not like the intimacy is not there. So
exactly.
that impacted other resources of mine. Me personally, it impacted my energy levels, and it got me through those dips and that, you know, kind of the roller coaster of things. And then, but because we have the awareness, it was like, okay, let me snap out of it and see how can I connect? How can I replenish those missing areas for now? Yeah, it might be a band-aid solution, but I know I'll get it soon.
Yeah. And
So
then
that was
I
off
just,
track than what you said.
and then because you were saying that, I want to build on what you said, that we have, when it comes to business, there are certain resources that we need to use, like our energy and our time, something. And this is something I've seen a lot, and it's common everywhere. It's common among my students in the Middle East, in the US, and my clients in both sides of the continent. But the one thing that we always do, and it's going to sound strange coming from a marketer, that we spend so much time marketing and branding our company, our business idea, instead of building it.
Working on it. Yeah, that's true.
So how about we start by building it? Like, I love how I always have clients who, let's do the logo. Okay, do you have the business? Do you know who you're? I want to do the website. Great, let's do the website, but let's see what we're selling actually.
90% of the people I worked with, it was the same thing. She already came. I mean, she's not clear on her products or services yet. She's not clear on anything, but she has a website and she has a brand and she has a logo and she has an Instagram page. And I'm like, and some of them even had a company registered. I'm like, what does a company do? It's a yoga place. Yeah. And what kind of yoga? What do you mean? I'm like, there's so many things that are determined on a yoga place. Like, you want to have a studio? Do you want to have Pilates in it? Do you want to have, and yeah. And I want, well, anyhow, and I get all these, I'm not going to, because I can't divulge more, but anyway, it was like all the weird details that come together. I'm like, but you have no coherence.
Yes.
How do you have coherence within your suite of services that you can offer at this point in time, and that capitalize to build you the brand and the business and the recognition? And then you can start expanding. And that is a horizontal, and then there's a vertical integration and expansion and all of that, but you don't have the core. Stop going away from the core, because the core gets you the publicity and the promotion and stuff. I'm like,
and it gets you the money. That's what gets you the money. Selling is what gets you the money. I think it's because we're either focused on the bling bling, which is, I have the Instagram, I have the followers, and and that scares me more with the women who want to do that, but they're too scared. So they would be like, just, okay, I'll wait on building the product. I'll wait on deciding on the pricing. I'll wait on the networking. Let me just start with my website, something that is safe because I have control over it. So just build the business, work on the business, and wait on the other stuff. It will come. You can do them in parallel, but just don't make that your focus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know, of course, we can keep going on, but we can have more episodes talking about more. But I love the fact that it was an impromptu business coaching session that I know a lot of people will benefit from. So I love that. And thank you for the value added. And thank you for, again, sharing your abundance and your knowledge and your energy.
Thank you so much, Hanan. And it was such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. I lost you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, Rana.
Okay,
thank
bye.
you so much. Again, as always, empowered you empowers others. You've got this. You can do this. Just focus on what it is that you, not what anyone is telling you, what you want to do for your best version of your life. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Empowered to Grow podcast. For further engagement with a tribe of empowered women, join my Facebook group, Empowered to Grow, or visit my website, www.hananalbasha.com. I'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, know that empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all.